Good evening. Today, Sunday the 17th of December, and tomorrow we are only 1 week from Christmas. Things are getting exciting and things are getting busy. Tonight's Vlogmas has been a little difficult in producing. I'll explain why in a minute. If you're new to the Vlogmas series, you really have been missing a trick. Go back to my videos section and catch the last 16 shows. But tonight we're going to bring an iconic game. To this day I've still not completed this game, and that is a gaming travesty. This Christmas I am going to get some gaming in, some hardcore gaming, and I am going to try and finish this title. The title that I'm talking about is Crisis. Many of you may have thinking, why am I revisiting such an old game? Well, for a game that's 10 years old, it is still stressing PCs to this day. Crisis is a first-person shooter developed by Crytek and Electronic Arts. You basically are part of a secret military unit sent to an island in the Philippines by the American government because some scientists that were working out on the island's called the Lingshan Island, have alerted the American government that North Korea is sending in its military and something big is kicking off. You don't quite know what. Your team has lost contact, and Raptor team are sent, and you free fall down to the island and then parachute into the island. Crisis, when it came out in 2007, was absolutely groundbreaking. This first-person shooter has a totally deformable environment. It has very dense vegetation, trees, objects. Everything you move through moves. Every bullet you shoot hits something, deforms it, causes it to move. Crisis is an absolute tax on your PC resources. You need a very good processor. You need a very good graphics card. And even 10 years later, on the Ryzen 1700X, I've not got it overclocked really high playing. I'm running at I'm overclocking all cores 3.8 GHz. The Fury X is overclocked to an inch within its life. My Fury X is nearly 2 years old now, and it's not the current best card you can buy, but it still packs a mighty punch. And just running this game at 1080p on its very highest settings, as you'll may be able to work out from the video at the side, because it is minimised. While I was recording at the same time in OBS Studio, at times I was dropping down to 48, 50 frames per second. To run this game at 1440p or 4K, I think you're knocking on an Nvidia 1080 card or an Nvidia 1080 Ti. Very recently, PC Gamer had done a piece on about running Crisis, and even to this day the game can't be ran at 4K on its highest settings. That we just do not have the graphical capability to do that yet. As you're part of the Crack Raptor team, you wear a specialised nano suit developed by the Americans. This nano suit can give you different abilities. It can give you a super strength, so you can jump higher than you'd normally be able to. You can run at super speed. It can give you super armour, so you can actually take heavy hits from bullets. It's not infallible. You can still get killed, but it gives you quite an armour and a shield effect. You can also use your suit to cloak into your environment. You don't completely disappear. It's much a Predator style cloak where you just mix into your environment. As you move around, you can still be seen. Using the suit, you can work through your environment fighting the North Korean military. Later in the game, you hit heavily armed mercenaries, and you will come across an alien race called the Seth. Graphically, this game was absolutely stunning, and even by today's standards, it's still a very good looking game. What's really great about it is that every time you do something in the game, it reflects on the environment. If you're shooting against military in the sand, they're on the beach, the sand, you can see little bits coming up. If you fire heavy weaponry through trees, you actually cut the trees down. Bushes move as bullets go through them. If you've never ever played Crisis and you have a PC to really run it, I would highly recommend getting this game and playing it, because this is an absolute classic, and I'm going to play through now as much as I can. I started playing earlier and got a bit caught up, but that wasn't the issue. Because this is a 10-year-old game, Windows OSs have moved on. And to get this game running on a 64-bit machine, it won't natively run out the box. Even on Steam, it will not run. When I come to run the game tonight to record for the video, it just kept crashing at load up. After doing a lot of Googling and a lot of research, I managed to come across an old Steam post that pointed to a directory where you have to download a 64-bit bin directory, put it into the game folder in your Steam library. You have to rename the old bin32 folder to .back or .old, and then rename the 64-bin folder to 32-bit, and then run the game. By doing this, I got into the game. As soon as I got into the game, I revisited the old problem that I used to have before. Because I'm playing this on a flat screen TV, my TV is capable of a 24Hz mode. Although this is great for movies, it's not great for when you want to run a game at over 60 frames per second. So I had to look back, and I guessed that there was some key combinations I'd done to get around this. And to get round the issue of the 24Hz mode, you have to Alt-Tab, so you come out the game and it puts it into a window mode. I think it brings up the Steam settings or whatever. You have to then push Alt and Enter at the same time to get back into a window mode. And upon doing this, you come back to 60 Hz, and you can play at 60 frames per second or above. So this game does not run on a 64-bit OS anymore without a bit of a faff, but once it's up and running, it is fantastic. Playing it tonight has reminded me that how a 10-year-old game could have come out yesterday and it still seems pretty current to today. Crisis wasn't the only game in the series. We had the Crisis spin-off or other perspective story called Crisis Warhead. We then had Crisis 2 and Crisis 3. I have got all of the Crisis franchise, but now I've got my desk and somewhere to sit and play. I'm going to really hit the games over Christmas. So Crisis, a groundbreaking, absolutely earth-shattering, graphically unbelievable when it first came out. But the problem was that the majority of people didn't have a machine that could run it as well as it should be. And as I've already covered tonight, even now 10 years later, I'm only just about running this at maximum settings at 1080p. This is one of the most iconic games for PCs and was used as a benchmark for many, many years. So this has been Vlogmas tonight on Sunday the 17th of December. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you back again tomorrow in the next one.